Hey guys, so as you can tell from the title of this video, this is going to be a full fish room tour, and after filming it I realized this is much longer than normal videos, so after getting some advice through my Instagram, I went ahead and split this into two parts. So this is part one, and also I wanted to go ahead and apologize for not uploading for quite a while. A smaller channel, I'm not monetized yet, so it takes a little bit extra for me to, find the time to do this stuff. But don't worry, I'm going to be uploading a whole lot more in the near future. So without wasting any more time, let's get ahead and start this tour. So to start, here's my Discus tank. It's been coming along nicely. These guys have been growing. I still do about a 70% water change every day or every other day. Because these guys create a lot of waste, and I still feed them about 5 times a day. They love to eat. I've also got some pretty nice sized cardinals in with them, a couple of diamond tetras, and of course the eels, little zigzags and peacock eels, which have wreaked havoc on this tank because they love to burrow, and they'll go underneath the roots of the plants and knock them up. So I end up with a bunch of loose plants. All the wisteria, though, I realized creates a good cover, so I kind of just let it stay up there, and it lets the discus, which are really jumpy, feel more comfortable hiding underneath the plants. As you can see, they're all out and having a good time. The only problem, you see some of them have little bits of scratches on them, and that's because the rocks, if they get spooked, they go to hide behind the rocks, but sometimes they go a little too quick. And I gotta figure out a way to fix that. And there's also some little aspidoras hopping around on the rocks. They help keep things clean. And I don't fully regret the white sand, but it is really tough to keep it clean. But other than that, the tank's been coming along pretty nicely. Sorry for the glare. So the next tank to show is my other discus tank, or I mean community tank, as also have my Ultim Angels and some redback wild types in there, as well as some short body Bosmani rainbows, and a bunch of different tetras and white clouds. But mainly I want to focus on these discus, and if you're wondering what this floating thing is, I'm gonna cut out now to a video I filmed about 4 or 5 days ago when I realized something in here. So now that you've seen that, I ended up having to pull the babies away from the parents, which is this one, and the Blue Dream, which seems to be somewhere else. And I moved the babies into here. I just fed them, and there's a few of them. Sorry, the glare is making it really hard to see them. So they're free swimming, and I've been feeding them a bunch of different pastes and powdered foods, as this is my first time raising discus, and in this tank there's no way they would have survived with the parents. So when they normally feed on the slime from the parents, it's really hard to replace that and risky. So this is quite a little adventure figuring this out, but it seems to be working fine for now. And as you can see, this tank is massively overgrown. I've been cutting plants out every few days, it seems, and they grow so fast. I no longer dose any fertilizers or anything, and again, since there's discus in here, I do water changes every day or two. But everything else is going along nicely. I didn't do too much in fixing this up because I was originally planning on replacing it with a tank over twice the size, and I had the tank. I don't think I mentioned in any previous videos, but I may have on Instagram, that a customer gave me almost brand new 65-gallon tank, I believe it was, and it was while I was installing a 90-gallon at his house, and he went ahead and brought it out to my car for me while I was installing his tank. and I didn't know he did that. And in the last 5 minutes of me finishing up on his tank, somebody drove past, stopped, and stole the tank, which was really a bummer. So now I'm looking for a new tank to replace this with in the meantime, which is why I haven't really done too much with the aesthetics of this, because, well, hopefully this will be gone soon and I'll have a bigger one for these guys. There's the other parent, the blue diamond over here, and this is where the eggs were. Looks he's still kind of looking for what happened to them. That kind of makes me feel bad. And in here I have some cories that I've raised up. I've been getting better at learning how to raise the cory eggs properly. There's one about big enough to put into a community now. And on the other end, also this pothos has been kind of getting out of hand. You'll see almost all of my tanks have pothos growing all over. I also have a spider plant growing out of here. And in here, I've got another batch of mollies that I rescued from the shop. As well, there are some rainbow fish. Probably gonna pop in some footage of when I discovered these guys in a different amphibian tank. There's one of them. These dwarf rainbows. I guess the eggs were laid on a floating plant that I moved to another tank. Next, this little tank here. I've just got a handful of CPDs, Celestial Pearl Danios, or Galaxy Rasboras, and a little bonsai tree. There are also a couple little tiny killifish in here somewhere. Pretty plain tank, nothing too big going on in here. Just kind of a little something for fun. Okay, so here is my no filter and originally no tech little betta tank. Unfortunately, this time of year the sun is kind of right above head, so no sunlight was coming directly in here. So I had to add this light on, at least for this time of year. The least killifish have been coming along pretty nicely. I've actually started to see a little bit of breeding going on with them. And everything's been growing quite well in here. The Monte Carlo carpet has gotten a few other things growing in there with it. That was one of the reasons why I added the light on, was the carpet thinned out a bit and got really long or tall. It was trying to reach up to get more sunlight. Now this tank right here is looking pretty horrible, just because this is my brackish tank with my mudskippers, my Indian mudskippers, and I have all of these mangrove plants that just came in yesterday, and I pulled out the fake plants that I had over here on this end, so I still got these live plants down here, and all of these mangroves that came in. I have some more that are on the way with leaves. I'm just keeping these in here for now. I'm gonna be giving a whole bunch of these to a buddy of mine, Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks, because he also has brackish tanks, and we've been trying to figure out what plants to put in them, and this was one of them that I came up with. So if you follow his channel, you'll be probably seeing some of these in the near future. And yeah, so along with my mudskippers, which are just hanging around waiting to be fed again, there is, let's see, there should be some tank mates in here somewhere. I've got some, oh, there we go. There's a female fiddler crab. I got her originally, she was pregnant, and I wanted to see if I could raise the babies, but that ended up being a whole lot more complicated than I thought it would be. But I decided to put her in here with these guys, and they get along great. As well, let's see, there should be some ghost shrimp around in here somewhere. And one little bumblebee goby that likes to pop his head around. I don't know if we're gonna see him. But other than that, also got the mudskippers. Are just a lot of fun to watch, especially when I feed them. So I'll give them some food here in a second. Now here are my freshwater pipefish. They've been a whole lot of fun. Unfortunately, when clearing part of this tank out for them, I screwed up, and during the heat wave I had turned off all the lights in here and left them off for a few days, and it just completely ruined the Monte Carlo carpet. And it's slowly trying to come back now, but other than that, there are also some emerald eye Rasboras, which are hiding in the back there. They've been in here for quite some time and have been breeding, though these the freshwater pipefish love to eat little baby fish, anything tiny. They only eat live food, so it's been a little bit of a hassle getting them food because I can't get them onto anything that's not live. But so yeah, mostly I've been feeding them adult brine. They won't go after baby brine, but adult brine, Daphnia, and just baby fish. So in here, got my emperor scorpion. It's still the day, so she's just kind of hanging out under here. At night she likes to crawl around. I just spritz down everything to get it nice and damp. They don't like it too damp, but they like a nice mist in there. Nice warm mist. But yeah, not the most exciting pet, but still a lot of fun. So here are baby angels I've been raising. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'd see the progression of these guys from eggs until this point so far. The water's a little murky because I'm about to do their daily water change. Since this grow out tank is so small and there's so many of them, I have to do at least one water change a day, sometimes two, depending on how heavy I feed. And they definitely are at a size already now where I'm about to move them up to a bigger tank. And speaking of which, I'm about to do a water change on that, and then a water change down here on all these eggs, which is going to be another big batch with one of the same parents and one different parent. I've been using pipettes to remove the unfertilized eggs. If you want me to do a video on how to raise baby angels, let me know in the comments as well. I've done some in the past if you want to look back on there, but I've definitely gotten a lot better at it. As you can see, there's quite a few babies in here, and they're doing quite well. Alright, so post feeding and water change, these guys are all happy. And so above here I have one male and two female gold Australia or Austral killifish. And they're kind of hiding in there. Here's a female, and the male is back there. And as well, there's a bunch of ghost shrimp hanging out in there. Probably gonna move them. Just moved the killifish into here probably a week ago. Trying it out. And next door we have eastern newts. I believe I have two males and a female. This chubbier one, I'm guessing, is the female. Again, if you follow my Instagram, a bit back there was some confusion. I had moved some floaters, I guess, from this tank over to another tank, and I found these little tiny things wiggling around, which I I then moved into this tank and have since grown up into, let's see if I can get them to wiggle out. Whoa, yeah, as you can see, good size now. Little eastern newts. So they bred, and that was pretty awesome. There's, I think, 3 of them in here. I put these in here in case once they leave the nymph stage, they're gonna need land. So once I see them climbing up onto here, I will move them into another tank so that they can live out their land portion before they become fully aquatic again. You can see he's still got the, almost like an axolotl. He's got the nymph little external lung type feathery appendages, which after those turn inside into their little lungs, they leave the nymph stage and get out of the water. So now to 2 of my favorite tanks. I love just the shape of these. This one, unfortunately, as you can see, I managed to screw up the carpet. Did that the other day. There was a crypt growing right in the middle that had been bothering me for a while. It was getting too big and messing up the layout, and when I pulled it out, it tore up the entire carpet, which I was very unhappy about. As you can see, these little shrimp have really taken off. I've got tons of them in here. Some of them, like the one right here, is a mix of different tiger shrimp, but most of them are a type of Sulawesi shrimp. Not the colorful ones, but like a baby blue kind. And also I've got a ton of neons in here. And those of you who watch my channel a lot will remember this is also the metallic halfbeak tank. The halfbeaks have been doing well. Not all of the babies survived. A few did. But since I put the neons in, they've been hiding a lot more. They're much easier to see from above since they're usually up at the top looking for food, as their weird shaped mouths, they can only eat things dropping down onto them. And so yeah, I'm kind of just waiting for things to hopefully fix themselves here with the carpet. That was kind of a heartbreak, but got lots of shrimp in here. These guys have been breeding like crazy, both the tiger shrimp and the Sulawesi. And then right next door is my Rasbora tank. It's quite a bit overgrown at the moment, but as you can see, these guys have been breeding like crazy as well. Especially the strawberry Rasboras. They have been colony breeding in the moss and just having tons of babies. I started with probably 6 of each, and these are just the ones not hiding. There's probably 100 or 200 in here, which is pretty crazy for, it's I think a 8-gallon tank. And also the blue axolotl Rasboras, they were breeding pretty decently, but as I started taking a bunch out to sell, they stopped breeding. So I'm hoping they're gonna pick back up soon. And I keep selling the strawberries, so if you're in the area and need strawberry Rasboras, those guys won't stop breeding. And right next to it, this used to be my scud, little scud farm, but I got these black bar limia live bearers, and they really just caught my eye. Brought them home. Didn't have anywhere to put them, and didn't have a clear tank for quarantine, so I just tossed them in here since there are no fish. And I thought, you know, they're gonna hunt some of the scuds, but I mean, they can't catch them all, can they? Well, turns out they can and did right away. They ran through a whole colony in probably 2 or 3 hours. But oh well, I like these guys more than I did scuds. I do still have some scuds in other tanks to breed for live food. But yeah, this has just been always a fun little tank here that I've got a tiny sponge filter that right now we're past the time where my timer turns it off. But other than that, it's a pretty good self-regulating tank. Now back up here, this is kind of a mess. I'm about to redo this tank and probably move the inhabitants. Hiding in here somewhere, there are two female betta and bellis. Let's see if I can find them. The females of all wild bettas have this, well, not all, but a lot of them have this certain look to them that it's pretty cool stripage. Oh, and also there's a baby pleco, or not a baby, but he's got some good size now. I picked him up about a month ago at the Aquarium Society. Oh, and there's one of the females. But yeah, I'm gonna move that pleco over to another tank soon. But for now, here are the bettas. Unfortunately, the male, who was absolutely beautiful, once he matured, he ended up jumping when I moved him to a new tank. They even had a lid, and he managed to knock that lid off, which is this tank down here that I'm gonna check out in a moment. But yeah. So this little tank down here, let's see, where are they? Oh, there's one of them. I've got some apistogramma cockatoidy triple reds, I believe. Maybe double red. There's one of the males. I have, I believe, two females in there with him, but they're hiding in this mass of moss, and there's a coconut husk in there. Almost forgot about this tank down here. There's a Nanacara animala. I believe that's one of the big females. They have bred in there, but there's also some guppies that I tossed in who had some nice tails, so I thought I'd breed them out a little bit. But mostly this tank is dedicated to the Nanacara animalas. They tend to hide, especially now that the guppies are in there, they hide a bit more. But they have been breeding, so I'm probably gonna pull the guppies out soon.